we have different types of ports. We'll create a file port. Then we require a partner profile on behalf of the receiver. Then, as usual, at the receiver side, we need to assign the inbound parameters. We know the formula for inbound parameters. It's a combination of message type and what inbound process code. So let me quickly create this receiver related object. So I'm in what 800 client. I'm in 800 client. Let me create the receiver related objects. There are the 5 things I need to create. One logical system. Assign the logical system to client. Then create the file port. All those. Let me quickly create. Right. So where do we create the logical system? SALE T code or BD54. Right. So I'll go to SALE T code. I'll go to basic settings. Under logical systems, I'll define the logical system. New entries. I'll give a logical system name as something 630 LREC. That's a 630 Lsmw. Receive some description, save it. Right, logical system is created. Then we need to assign the logical system to our client. Who is the client here? 800 is the receiver client. Okay, so I'll just assign logical system to client. I can consider either 800 as a receiver or 810 as a receiver, whatever it is, because we have SAP only at one side. I'll go for 800 as a receiver client, so I'll give the name as 630 LREC. 630 LREC, let me save it. I've assigned the logical system to receiver client. Then I require what? One file port. Where do we create the ports? W21. So I'll go to W21. If it is between SAP to SAP, you need to choose what? TRFC. If it is between what? A file and to the assembly system, if you are using Lsmw tool, Lsmw tool always deals with the files. So I need to create a file port. Just choose file port, click on what? Create. It is asking the port number. So I'll give it as something 630 L port, some name. Okay. I'll give the description 630 Lsmw port. Done. Then here you can see in the outbound file tab, automatically this radio button is selected physical directory and it is showing some path. It is showing some path. So what is this path means? What the Lsmw tool will do, it will read the data from these files and will generate the IDOC now. For every IDOC it generates, it will create one file. For every IDOC it generates, it creates one file. Okay, and that file gets stored in this particular path. Understood? If Lsmw is generating 10 files, all the 10 files will be stored in this particular path. This is a server path. This is a server path. I mean, this is application server path. Okay, it will create that in the application server path. I will not disturb that. This is the default path. Let it be this path. Done. And what I told you, for every IDOC, it creates what? One file. Na? That file name should be controlled. Na? The file name should be controlled. That file name is controlled by using this particular function module. Okay, so if I browse this and I press F4, yeah, it is showing the different function models. I can choose any of the function model. Suppose if I choose this one, what it is? EDA underscore path underscore create underscore time. What happens is create underscore date underscore time. What is the name of the file it creates? The file name will have this particular naming convention. What is this? The file name will end with what? Ended with what? Combination of what? Date and time. Combination of date and time. Okay. Suppose if I choose this one, the file name will end with the concatenation of what? Client number and document number. Every IDOC will have what? 16-digit number. Na? So the file name will end with what? End with the client number and what? IDOC number. If I choose this one, create underscore message type underscore document number. The file name will end with what? Combination of what? Message type plus last 8 characters of IDOC number. So I can choose any of the function model. Let me choose this one. Message type underscore document number. So what happens now? Whatever the file it creates, that file will have what naming convention? The file name will end with the concatenation of what? Message type and the last 8 characters of what? IDOC number. Done. Let me save it. That's all. The port is what? Create. Understood? So while creating the port, we are giving the function model. The only purpose of this function model is it will control the name of the file when the IDOC is what? Generated. Okay. So 630L port is the receiver. Sorry, port number. Okay. So let me just, yeah, then you have to create what? Partner profile. So for every logical system, we require partner profile. Where do we create? W20. W20. So in the earlier case, what is the partner profile for sender? Partner profile always depends upon partner logical system. Partner profile for sender is equal to receiver logical system. Partner profile for receiver is equal to sender logical system. But here logical system is only one logical system is available, so that itself becomes a partner profile. So go to W20, create the partner profile. Partner type logical system, create. What is the logical system we have created this now? 630L REC logical system. The user ID is so and so. Done. Save. So this is a partner profile we are creating on behalf of receiver. No? At the receiver side, at the partner profile level, we have to assign the inbound parameter. No? So in the same T code W20, once a partner profile is created for the same partner profile, we need to assign what? Inbound parameters. Inbound parameters is always configured at what? Receiver side. Okay. So let me just click on this. What is the message type? MetMask. What is the process code? MATM. Process code is MATM. Let me save it. That's all. So all the receiver related objects are available. All the receiver related objects are available here. So we are done with all the receiver related objects. Now we need to configure the Lsmw tool. Okay, so for that we require these two files. Already I have created the files. Just observe here. They are the two files. Okay, they are the two files. One is mara.txt, another is what? makt.txt. Understood? This file will contain the data related to the first segment, even mara.m. This file will contain the data related to even makt. So here, if I open this file, yeah, I have taken only one record. What is this here? Message function 005. This is my IDOC number 630 IDOC MAT 100. This is my material type. This is industry sector. This is material group. This is your base unit of measure. This is gross unit of measure. How many fields are considered? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is the separator? Comma is the separator. Okay. And here same message function I should take. This is language key, this is description, and this is ISO code of the language. Understood? So we have taken two files. I have taken only single record. I can take multiple records also. Anyhow, when they go to the next topic, Lsmw is in BAPI, there anyhow I'll take only one file and I'll take multiple records. Okay, done. So in the first segment, I'm considering what? 7 fields. message function, material number, material type, all those things. And in the second one, we have considered what? 4 fields. Done. So we are done with all the things. Let us configure the Lsmw tool. So I'll quickly try to finish up this. So just observe here. Agenda is what now? Once I configure the Lsmw tool, it should pick up the data from that sender system, 2 files. It has to generate the IDOC, and that IDOC should be distributed to what? SAP system. What is the IDOC number? One second. Yeah, what is the IDOC number? 630 IDOC mat 100. Na? Okay, then the file 630 IDOC mat 100. So who is the SAP system here? 800. Na? So if I go to ABAP dictionary SC11, if I go to Mara table, if you go to the contents, number of entries, what is it? 21,554. I don't have any material number. 630 IDOC mat 100 is not available. See, when I execute 630 IDOC mat 100, when I'm trying to execute that, if you see the number of entries, how many entries are there? 0. I don't have that particular material. So if it is not there in Mara, obviously will not be there in MAKT also, but still let me confirm. So I'll go to another session of ABAP dictionary. I'll go to material description table, MAKT table. If I go to contents, how many entries are there? Something 563, 2,14,563. What is the material number? 630 IDOC mat 100. When I execute that, it is saying not available. So the specified entry is not available. Now let me go to Lsmw tool. Let us configure. So I'll go to Lsmw tool. Right. Welcome to Legacy System Migration Workbench. The LSM Workbench is an SAP system tool that supports you when copying the data from non-SAP systems. Done. So as usual, we know we need to provide the project, subproject, and what? Object name. So let me give the project name as ZLI project, ZLSMW IDOC project. Understood? We need to create the project, subproject, and object. Just like in basic ABAP, when we use batch input recording or direct input method, they are also same process. So I'll create the project name. I'll click on create button. So I'll give the description as Lsmw IDOC project. Continue. It is asking the sub-project name. I'll give it as ZLSMW ZLIS project. Lsmw IDOC sub-project. Then I'll give the object name as ZLSMW IDOC object. Right? So provide the project name, sub-project name, and object name. So in our basic ABAP, as part of the BDC, when we are using the direct input technique or batch input recording, we'll do the same thing. We'll create the project, sub-project, and object, and we'll click on execute button. But now here I'm going to use what technique? Lsmw using IDOC. So here the IDOC should be distributed to receiver. Who is the receiver here? SAP. On behalf of that receiver, we have created some IDOC objects. Now we have created our logical system. We have assigned the logical system to client. We have created the file port. We have created the partner profile. All those things. So we need to configure those things. We need to specify those things. So before we click on execute button, after providing the project, subproject and object name, choose the menu settings, go to what? IDOC inbound processing. So we need to tell the Lsmw tool, what is the receiver related object. So choose the menu settings, IDOC inbound processing, done. It is asking the file port. What is the file port I created? Z Lsmw port I alt. Let me search here. If I click on the maintain ports, in the file port only I create something, not this one, 630 L port. Right? The 630 L port is the file port which I created. So let me choose that 630 L port. Done. Partner type is logical system, that is LS. Partner number. What is the partner number? 630 LREC. So provide the file port, provide the partner type, and provide the partner number. Then click on the button, activate the IDOC inbound processing. Okay, click on this. It is asking the confirmation, activate the IDOC inbound. So what is the meaning of this setting is, when the IDOC is received, it has to process that particular incoming IDOC. It has to read the data and post the data. So I'm activating that. Say yes. Done. It has activated. That's all. So now Lsmw tool knows what is the receiver and what is the file port it has to use for distributing that particular IDOC. Done. So now this other part is very simple. I'll just click on the execute button. So we know that Lsmw has got different techniques. We have direct input, batch input, all those things. So in case of batch input recording, I believe there are 14 steps. In case of direct input, I believe there are 13 steps. Okay. So let us see how many steps are there in Lsmw using the IDOC. So here, as usual, click on the execute button. Very simple. First step is what? Maintain object attribute. So here we need to specify the type of technique. What is the type of technique in our case? IDOC only. So let me click on execute button. Right. So we have 4 radio buttons here. Direct input. It is in display mode. I'll open it in chain mode. We have 4 radio buttons: direct input method, batch input recording, BAPI technique, and IDOC technique. Okay. So I need to go for what? IDOC technique. So I'll choose what? IDOC. I'll choose IDOC. Then I'll choose a message type. We are trying to distribute what IDOC? Material data. No? So it will generate the material IDOC. What is the message type? We'll consider MATMAS. IDOC type, I can browse also, but not required. Anyway, we know. I'll choose what MATMAS 05, which has got the highest release. So just provide the message type and provide the IDOC type. Okay. Enhancement means when we do the IDOC extension, we'll enhance the IDOC. So if you want to consider that customer specific segments also, we need to provide that particular enhancement name. So we have not yet discussed IDOC extension. Next topic we'll discuss it. So here as of now, I'm trying to distribute only what? Standard fields using what? Lsmw tool. So MATMAS is the message type. IDOC type is what? MATMAS 05. Let me save it. That's all. Go back. Yeah, that's all. Automatically the second step is selected. So what is the summary of the first step? We have chosen the type of technique as IDOC and we specify the message type and what? IDOC type. Then maintain source structures. In this, what we will do is we'll create the structures corresponding to the number of files. How many files we are considering? 2 files. Each file is related to one segment. So we need to create the number of structures corresponding to number of files. Since we have 2 files related to segments,